All right, everyone. Good to see you all. We're gonna wait just like 20 more seconds here. It's got a couple more people coming.
Would you like me to share my screen right now, Chris? Or you want me to, all it's going to do is show the first screen of my
Um,
power.
I tell you what, why don't you wait just for a moment because I'm gonna do some fancy
Okay.
theatrical things like this. That's pretty exciting, isn't it?
All right.
Yeah, I know. It's not bad, is it?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay, well, let's yeah, people we'll just keep letting people in. It's always busy, isn't it? I appreciate everyone coming in because we all lead very busy lives and things just get more and more complex and all of that. But what a joy to spend a little time with everyone tonight. My name is Chris Gleason. I'm the Arts and Creativity Consultant with the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, and we are excited to host our second annual Wisconsin Dance Education Summit. And I tell you, if it keeps getting better and better like this, we're just going to keep going on for a long time. So it's a joy to spend a little time talking about this amazing art form. And tonight we have, oh boy, talk about amazing kind of lineup here. Um, so in a few minutes, we're going to get a welcome by none other than Susan McGreevy-Nichols, who is the current executive officer and director of the National Dance Education Organization. So it's going to be a pleasure to have her kick this off. And then from there, we just go on to introducing two amazing entrepreneurs, educators, visionaries that have just done an amazing thing for dance education. And tonight, we're really celebrating their work as well. And with the viewing of a great documentary, a great movie called P.S. Dance: The Next Generation. So Jody Gottfried Arnhold will be here, and Biddle is with us as well. And we even have some surprise guests even at the end of the night. So if you think that's enough, there's even more after that. So we'll take a little break after the movie and then come back, and you get a chance to speak to the educators and the executive producer. And I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. So it's a great honor to have you all with. So without further ado, let's just hop in. And again, we're meeting our guests with us, and we're going to lead things off with Susan. And Susan, I'll stop sharing so you can hop in.
So I can share.
And Susan again is has been a mainstay in dance education for Susan. How many years has it been now? You told me.
Well, I've been 13 years as executive director, but I taught for 28 years K-12 at Roger Williams Middle School in Providence, Rhode Island.
So, yep, there you go. And the news that you're going to retire at the end of this year. So, congratulations.
Well, actually, I'm retiring June 30th because I have an opportunity to do some traveling.
That's awesome. Yeah. So,
All right.
congratulations. It's awesome.
Thank you. All right, sorry, I have to kind of get this going again. Okay, can you all see that okay? Perfect. Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm really happy to be doing this. Many people hear the word advocacy and think about going to Washington to influence some issue or to support a value or endorse a piece of legislation. In light of the current political climate, I thought I would give you some tools that bring advocacy down to the grassroots and help you talk about why students are learning. At the grassroots level, I want you to think of advocacy as a way to express the value of dance education by promoting your program. Think about it. By advocating for dance education and ultimately your program, you are essentially marketing or selling it to the community, your administration, and others. Uh-oh. I'm having trouble. Oh, there it is. There we go. I have given you access to a series of one-page handouts that you can use to explain the cognitive benefits of dance education to share with your community. So, Chris, are they in the chat yet, the handouts?
They are coming right now.
Okay, great. So, but you'll be able to see them on the page and you can check them out and download them later. Make sure you download them. So this so let's consider the creating process, which you see right here. And this is used when collaborating on a piece of choreography. The steps shown here show how they are connected to the anchor standards. So I have provided in the chat, again, the one-page handouts that you can use to explain these benefits to your community and your students. So let's look at this one. As the national dance standards are, and all the national standards are kind of arranged under the frame of the anchor standards. So all creating standards are under the anchor standard 1, 2, and 3. So this is how I have designed it to make sure it's easy for kids to understand. So under standard 1, which is generate and conceptualize artistic ideas and work, the tasks that you would do would be to choose a topic, to research the topic, and then identify important aspects of the topic. Then they move on to anchor standard number 2, which is organize and develop artistic ideas and work. And so they go on with the creating. They devise problems to be solved and ask questions. They solve the problems and produce materials. They design artwork using the materials, and they self-evaluate and revise as needed. Finally, for anchor standard number 3, they refine and complete artistic work. And that requires getting and using feedback to actually do the revision and to finally perform and share your performance. So that's kind of the process. And you can see as we go along, I've kind of used the same process over and over again. So it makes it easy for kids to understand and be able to continue doing it. When we talk about dance education, many people think it's all about learning steps and putting them together. More than ever, we need to know how to talk about what dance is and the arts provide and how the arts provide our students, and also makes them a better learner. Okay, and it's because of this, using the cognitive processes that really make the difference. My suggestion to the audience here is that you need to learn how to talk about the learning in terms of the cognitive processes of creating, performing, responding, and connecting, which provide the framework for the national art standards as well as the Wisconsin standards. So again, this is kind of the same arrangement, but it describes the anchor 4, 5, and 6 talk about performing. And so again, it lists the anchor standard, and then it has ways of kind of working within that anchor standard. So you would create lessons around helping them to identify a dance that this is actually performing is really to get them to, number one, learn how to be a better performer, learn the process of learning how to be a better performer. Also, how do you create a piece of choreography and then teach your dancers to be better performers? And all of this does work that way. So let's go to the next one. I keep getting little oogie things. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is a process for connecting to dance. Oops, I think I missed one. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, So consider ways to include this information by passing it on to parents, by training our students as docents of their learning so they can talk to their parents about what they have learned and also share with bigger audiences. By focusing on the value of dance education, you are highlighting the importance of what you're offering to your students. So again, this is connecting. It uses anchor standards 10 and 11. And again, these anchor standards are used across arts disciplines, and it's for all grades. So the breakdown of the standards would be under these various areas. So I'm going to go back to one slide, which I kind of skipped. So this is the responding practice. The first time I realized there was a need for this was when my best dancer at the time, and again, I taught inner city middle school, my best dancer who had me every day. And she basically had a meltdown. And shocking, middle school kids do that. But she turned to me and said, dance isn't important anyway. Well, that took me back a little. And I thought, well, why aren't I teaching students why dance is important? I can't expect them to automatically understand what they get from a long-term dance education experience. That is what caused me to start developing advocacy materials. So again, this is responding. You'll get a copy of this. And again, this is focused on anchor standards 7, 8, and 9. And you can see kind of where this stuff ties into that by having them look at a piece of work and analyze it and then share that piece of work. And it can end with them doing a critique of it or whatever you decide to do. But again, this is about a process, a thinking process for them to work through. Now, you don't necessarily have to start, from 1 and then end at 4. People do start at different points, but do get to all of these aspects along the way. All righty, let me get on the right thing. So again, going back to the connecting, connecting really talks about the personal side of you and the research you do and how the research and how your personal life affect whatever you're working on how you interpret art, how you create art. And also, so there's always all kinds of things, societal, cultural, and historical aspects that really influence you when you're creating pieces of work. So that's kind of that little connection here. So consider on the next one. So this is a comparison of cognitive processes. So this is an excellent tool if you want to work with people who don't really understand dance, but they think they understand education and how kids learn. And they certainly understand science class, and they understand math class, and they understand writing. Well, all of these things have processes. They all involve thinking of some way. And guess what? These thinking processes, all 4 of them, the creating, the scientific, the problem solving, and writing, all have the same steps. That's because that's the way your brain works. It can actually do these things because that's how it synthesizes what you're trying to do. So you can see if you read across, the task is the concept. And if you look at the artistic, it's choose a topic. If you look at the scientific, you ask questions and define a problem. That brings up a topic. The problem solving is define a problem. And writing is identify, oops, your pictures are over it. Identify a problem. So you can see this is pretty neat. They all go across the way. So the thing is, let's talk about parents. They really value their students, their child, learning how to write and learning how to problem solve in math and learning how to do scientific thinking. But they may not, they may not understand what happens in the dance class and how do they create a dance. Do they put a bunch of steps together? Well, they can, but if they want to go deeper into creating an original piece based on a topic or a personal experience, that's a little different. That is where they would use this process. So that kind of is my spiel. And by all means, use these handouts. They are very effective with parents. They're effective with your faculty. To anyone you are going to maybe go in and work, if we have teaching artists here, if you go in and work at a school, these are great tools to be able to share because they really show the, I would say the higher order learning that is involved in this, in dance creation. Okay. So
Awesome. Thank you,
that's it.
Susan.
Welcome.
Hey, everybody, you've got on the bottom of your screen, it says React. So you can click on that and give her a little reaction there and little electronic emojis and so on for her. Thank you, Susan, though. We really appreciate it. And this is,
You're
boy, you
welcome.
talk about timely information. And again, just this, validation of the importance of the arts, not just for the purpose of the arts, but to show how the arts
Yeah,
teach through the arts, just like any other discipline, how we need all of this. It's just really well stated. So great, great materials. Thank you so much.
you
Um,
are very, I'm going to stop sharing.
Sounds good. And for those watching on the recording, all of those handouts that she provided will be up on the website too, so that you can have access to those as well. Hey, now we move on to two guests I'd love to introduce to you right now who are going to set up our film. And hey, probably better than why not just have the dance educator herself here, Ann Biddle, who is a Dell, a dance education laboratory professional learning and curriculum senior consultant, and a boatload of other things. All their stuff is up on the website. You got to read their bios; is amazing. And then, of course, Jody Gottfried Arnhold, who is not only the Dell founder, but also the executive producer for these Emmy-winning Emmy-nominated documentaries and so on. So to have you both with us is such a privilege. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Chris. I trust everyone hears me. And I want to thank Susan and Shell Parkins, the Director of Dance Education, University of Wisconsin-Madison, for this wonderful opportunity to champion dance education. And thank you all for joining us virtually tonight for this very special screening of PS Dance, The Next Generation. I'm Jody Gottfried Arnhold, founder of Dance Education Dell, and executive producer of PS Dance, The Next Generation, and our first film, PS Dance, Dance Education in Public Schools. In tonight's film, you will see what happens when principals, teachers, and schools believe in and support dance education. You will watch master dance educators Ann Biddle, Felice Santorelli, Shakia Barron immerse their Pioneer Valley Performing Arts middle and high schoolers in dance education, Dell teaching methods. And you see these students emerge inspired and empowered as they embody the role of dance educator and mentor to classrooms of elementary school children. You see the trajectory of the next generation of dance educators take root and fly as they apply the Dell model. My inspiration for founding Dell grew out of my over 25 years of teaching dance in New York City public schools. I saw it firsthand, the power of dance education to transform students' lives. And I also saw how much work still needs to be done to bring high quality dance education to every child. That gave me my big idea, dance for every child. I wanted to find a way to fulfill the vision of a dance program in every school, To do that, we needed teachers, and 30 years ago, Dance Education Laboratory was born. Over 30 years, an entire ecosystem has grown to support this vision, and now there are over 500 dance educators in New York City public schools. We want to be sure that dance has a seat at the table wherever education is discussed. Making my first film, P.S. Dance, gave me the movie bug. I knew I wanted to make another. But this time I wanted to focus on the next generation, the young educators, the future leaders of dance education. I just didn't know how young. And then I saw Ann Biddle's work at the Pioneer Valley Performing Arts School in Northampton, Massachusetts, and it hit me like a lightning bolt. This was the story, the mentorship model, these students, this community. This film is about what's possible when we nurture future educators. It's about brilliant teachers like Ann Biddle, and about shining a light on her equally extraordinary proteges, Felice and Shakia. I want dance educators to be celebrated, and what better way than to make them movie stars? Ann's work at PVPA in Northampton, Massachusetts is one example of how an inspired teacher can apply the Dell model and influence thousands. The film captures how the Dell mentorship model transforms teaching, learning, and leadership through dance. I hope this film encourages you to imagine how this model could take root in your own school, in your community, in your state. Thank you again. And remember, there is no dance without dance education. Enjoy the film.
Thank you, Jody. That was beautiful. All right, everyone. So we're gonna put the film on. And if you want to turn your cameras off during this part, go ahead. That's fine. And then we will watch the film in its duration, about 55 minutes. And then afterwards, I'll see you again. And then we'll just take a quick little 5-minute break, stretch break, and then we'll ask some questions. Here we go.
Oh, we're not seeing the film, Chris.
Well, that makes it less fun. Let's let's just try that again. Okay. Hey, but you heard it, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
see, okay. It's not all bad. We're 50%. Okay. How's that? You see it?
I want to have dance in school every day.
We are training middle school dancers and high school dancers to be dance mentors, working with elementary school students. So we go in, we are responsible for working with all of these students, creating dances with them, creating dances ourselves. We have 2 performances, so we're going to have pretty high standards for you all.
I love that you're almost not you when you're dancing. You can let all your emotions out and you can take off your mask.
Now when I go to parties, I can dance. I can actually dance.
It just makes me feel like happy for this time that I'm dancing.
And
really glad that I'm able to bring dance to people who've never danced before and show them that dance is for everybody.
A lot of kids don't have practice using their bodies to say anything. If you're expressing any kind of thought, it's either writing or it's speaking. And the idea, the concept of using your body to communicate ideas, I think is totally novel for a lot of kids.
I'm just seeing them become bigger people.
They gain empathy and compassion. You can't teach that, but you have to give an opportunity, an environment for that to happen. And then for that to happen through the vehicle of dance is just even beyond, it's beyond. My name is Ann Biddle. I am the director of the Dell PVPA program. I am also the founding faculty of the Dance Education Laboratory program in New York City. The Dance Education Laboratory, otherwise known as Dell, is a professional development program that provides an inclusive and dynamic laboratory for dance educators to develop and hone their teaching skills. Dell focuses on the artistry of teaching and inspires educators to teach from the heart. I was the founding faculty when Dell was established in New York City in 1995. Over 25 years later, Dell continues to nurture innovative and high-quality teacher training and offers dance educators a comprehensive model of dance education. I have adapted this adult learning model for my middle and high school students at PVPA. They receive the same training and gain the same skills as our dance professionals. It's a mammoth challenge, yet we are able to prepare them to teach dance in the elementary school classroom in 5 intense training days. Okay, so first thing that's so important to teach your students. These are really important. These are the 4 basic shapes of all human movement. Show me a round shape with your hands. Just with your hands. Beautiful. Beautiful. Just with your hands. Yeah. LMA is the language of dance, or the vocabulary of dance. Body, what moves. Effort, how do you move? The qualities of movement. Space, where do you move? And relationship, with whom are you moving? Up on the middle level, right? Ooh, this is middle level. This is middle level. Ooh, that's a little high. Can you go a little lower? Yes, thank you so much.
Start side to side one more time. This time, let's try to point our feet.
I'm Janavia. I'm a senior, and I've been doing Dell since I was in 7th grade.
All right, everyone, hands out. We're gonna be spiders. So with your little spider fingers, you're gonna crawl out really quickly. My name is Tali Sureck, and I'm in 12th grade at PVPA. In.
And up. And brush them down. And up. Open, wide shape, and brush them down and up. I'm Tiana Vasquez Ford, and I'm a Dell TA. Take a different color paint. Which is color paint? Here we go. Mine's purple. And we're gonna brush it all the way down and up. And wide shape.
Can you make a shape where you're as close to the ground as you possibly can?
I'm Yoshi, I'm 16, and I go to PVPA, and I'm in 11th grade. So the DEL training is super intense. It requires a lot of effort from everyone, and it's going over all of the different units that we teach with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. So 3 units going over how to work with your team, building that bond with your team. It's crazy how much growth you go through.
Faster, faster, faster. Don't think, just do it. Change levels. It's a beautiful long story. And this is the book that we're going to be focused on for our 3rd grade dance unit when we go to the lead school. Grandma Spider Brings the Sun, written by Jerry Keems and illustrated by James Bernardin, is a Cherokee creation folktale. It is brimming with movement words and offers wonderful lessons about overcoming adversity, working together, and respecting the natural world. The story also has some great characters, such as the egotistical buzzards and the fierce sun guards. This was a perfect entry point for the 3rd grade curriculum.
The choreographic process is kind of laid out in steps, or here's how we organize our ideas. And students are brought through that, but in a very collaborative way, so the dance becomes something that everyone has worked on.
What if we darted in the regular shape, kind of like darting from side to side, like running? So the stomping can be from the beginning, and then the dart could be during the regular shape.
That is something that we strive for in our academic disciplines as well. We want students to be engaging in dialogue about ideas. We want them to be problem solving and thinking about, you know, what is it that makes this math problem work or not work? Like, that's something that's a part of the progressive educational model.
Center, and then we're on a low level, and then everyone else on the outside we're doing something on a high level, maybe like circling around. So I think that's cool because it shows how it's like we're trying to protect something, and this is like a circle sun-like shape, and we were kind of like here, so like on a low level. And do you want to be like circling around? Yeah, that's kind of cool. That looks like the sun.
And this poem is called Life Doesn't Frighten Me. It's a poem written by Maya Angelou, and the paintings are by Jean-Michel Basquiat. I want you to start to listen for all the movement words. And also look for the movement in the illustrations. Shadows. One of my goals for this curriculum was to break down gender norms in dance. And so I carefully selected a theme that would generate dynamic movement vocabulary and feel empowering for all students. The evocative images in Life Doesn't Frighten Me was perfect for engaging 4th graders. So sometimes going forward, sometimes retreating. I felt it was important for all students to know the poetry of Maya Angelou. As an African-American poet, writer, and civil rights activist, Angelou is one of the most powerful poetic voices of my generation. Her words are potent, yet accessible, and inspire courage, perseverance, and hope. Coupled with the vibrant illustrations of Basquiat, Life Doesn't Frighten Me was the perfect vehicle for meaningful dance making with our 4th graders. You now, in your groups, you have one page from the book. You're going to look at that page, and you're going to follow the choreographic package. This is what you're going to be doing with your 4th graders, exactly this task. Students begin their dance-making process by creating a movement sentence. A movement sentence is a combination of 2 or more action words placed in a sequence, such as skip, turn, leap. Students explore many variations of each action word as they collaboratively build dances that go beyond just stringing steps together. Students get to interpret their movement sentences in very individualized ways, which gives them a feeling of ownership and creative agency. Because the language of LMA is accessible to all students, it's a great framework that supports literacy and helps develop a common movement vocabulary. We have also adapted the movement sentence concept to create large, multi-generational, community-based dance events that we call movement sentence choirs, inspired by the choreography of Rudolf Laban and linked to a social theme.
A movement sense is a powerful tool that proves to the students that they can make a dance about anything.
I feel like we got a pretty good list of action words. Yeah. So now we have to create our movement sentence. So we want to pick 4 that can like go good with each other. We probably want one that can like open it. Yeah, we can have some like ones that move, probably here.
I like dodge.
I like dodge too.
Maybe somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, like here. We should be crawling around. Yeah, and with dodging, like really play with like levels. Like if someone goes like that, you go like, no.
So I started Dell when I was in 7th grade, and I was really awkward and just very shy and nervous.
Oh, Tali was painfully shy. You know, every report card that came home was, it's wonderful to have Tali in class. She's hardworking, very organized. She just doesn't speak.
Kids who are shy are often just not seen as people who can be leaders. So in 7th grade and before that, I thought that's just how it was. Like I was going to be given roles that were a little bit less vocal. I had never been offered like a leadership role like this before, and I was with other people so different from myself, but we were starting together from the very basics and now to the most advanced.
It might be cool if like, you know, when you get to this corner, you're like starting to hide again, and then you do a really big like stomp or something. Yeah. And like that makes us react, you know? We're like, yeah.
Often people think of leaders as just being bossy or loud or controlling a situation, but at Dell, it's really about being in control together, like working with each other.
Here we go, 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, step. In the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the left. Here we go, 4 counts.
The reason we chose hip hop is because we felt that developmentally the 5th graders were ready for a genre. And Shakia was working with me, and that's her area of expertise. So I said, Shakia, how can we create a hip hop curriculum that uses the Dell model?
Up, down, la, up, down, la.
And so the first day of our 5th grade dance residency, we made sure to provide a historical foundation of the roots of hip hop dance linked to the African diaspora.
Rock your body, both arms.
Freestyle has always been a part of hip hop, and I really wanted to dig deeper into it and have the students dig deeper into it and feel more comfortable, and this was the perfect way to do so because the repetition of the moves, once they have the foundation, the basics down, they're able to put their own spin onto it and bring their own selves out and be unique and be themselves, and that's what's really important.
When I first thought about doing Dell, Ann talked to me, she told me about it, and I was super nervous because I just kind of thought I wasn't the person to like teach other people because I thought myself there's not a lot that I know. So I gave it a chance, and within doing it with the students, every day was a new learning process for me, and every day I had like my different challenges that I worked to improve on. And this is my last year back, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm also super sad about it at the same time, but I'm really excited for the new students.
And back, forward, back, to the front, and make sure you bounce, get low, and we can go really It's really fun, like they're really all excited to learn and teach, so it's really awesome to have their positivity.
The different breakdowns in the categories, body, style, effort, the different dynamics really make the choreography unique. The space, the way they move, it's completely different now that we add the dynamics of the Dell pedagogy in there.
How low can you pace? How high can you pace? Can you pace with 2 arms?
So, Yoshi, what are we doing right now?
Heading over to Mount Holyoke College for the the filming of the Catalyst pieces that we're sending to the National High School Dance Festival.
Just let it float, Megan, like you're floating.
Okay. Should we like space it from the beginning?
Yeah, let's go at the beginning. We are doing the Dell work at it's just a higher level. Catalyst is a choreography company. That's really that's really the basis of the work we do, is a student choreography company. And so when we start our work in class, it's like, what's this dance about? And how are you gonna make it? And how do you translate that concept into a physical idea?
I like to step way back for a little while. They often will turn to me after every run and say, do you have any ideas? And I like to just say, not yet. Most of the time, their ideas surprise me. And so by the time we get to Mount Holyoke to get to this performance space, more than anything, my hope is that they're just feeling really ready to say, like, this is my work, and to step into the space. And I want to be behind, you know? I want to be a step away.
If you were to ask me in middle school if I ever thought I'd choreograph a piece, I'd probably say no.
I didn't know she had it in her until they said we were gonna have like a talent show or whatever. So they did like a talent show, and she did like a solo, and me and my mom and my sister, we were like, oh my goodness, we did not know like she could do all that. And that's what she's been doing ever since, and she loves it.
I believe that Dell brought out the more choreographic process in me and was a big step for helping me find more of my own artistic ability and finding kind of like the inner voice of like my ideas and exploring more serious topics.
She wants to be a doctor, but I feel like she's having all these amazing opportunities. I think this is her calling. Like, I really feel like that. So, it's up to her, but I feel like this is something that she should go far with.
Yes! You happy?
Yeah.
You want to say anything?
Good job.
Good? All right, good. She's happy. It was great. It was beautiful.
So team leaders, you have some really clear directions on what you need to review with your whole team. Shakia, Felice, and I are here to help if you have questions, but we really wanted you to take on this leadership role right now to be really clear with helping prepare your team for tomorrow. Start the process of reviewing.
Every year that I've done this, like us as teachers were like, oh my goodness, like they're just not there yet. And there's just so much more that we can teach them.
The idea of leadership for some students is really comfortable. It just is natural to stand up and take the lead, to stand in the front, to lead the class. You see it come out in all different ways. And for some students, it's not as natural. And it just is nerve-wracking to think, what if I mess up? What if I say the wrong thing? I think we're trying to encourage them to lean on each other in that way, step up when it's time to step up, let someone help you when they need to be helped.
Like, oh, we want to jump in, we want to take over because we're so used to being in that role. So now we have to really have patience and we have to let them do it. We have to let them do it. And then they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to figure that out, and it goes on. So we're going to have a really wonderful time tomorrow. Make sure you get a good night's sleep, eat a big dinner, have a good breakfast. Make sure you're wearing your dance clothing. So gently roll over onto one side. Take your time. And this is exactly what we will do with our students. And slowly, slowly, slowly come up to position 4. Slowly, slowly,
Okay, we're older than them. They're gonna think whatever we do, even if we mess up, is amazing, okay? They're
and be like, whoa. Which is hard for us because we want to take over, but we don't take over. And I'm 100% confident they will be awesome. Yeah. Everyone feel okay?
And then, Elizabeth, you're going to read the poem out loud.
Emily, and you're doing the positions, right? Okay, Ashley, take off your socks. Their socks are all off, so take off your socks. Right, since we're teaching dance, I want to learn your name with a movement. So I'm going to say my name, and I'm going to do a small little movement with it, and then you're going to repeat my name and the movement. So I'm going to go, Tali, and then everyone else repeats, Tali. Now, your turn. Jada. How about something with your arms out? Okay.
I think anytime you get to see a child in a different way, increases your understanding of the child. It's a cool way to observe them. And so then I can incorporate those things that I see in the Dell program into the classroom.
Now, you're going to take your hands and put them in your favorite color paint.
Well, it's really fun. When I was younger, I saw people dancing, and I found that it was like a way to express your moods, and when I found out that you could give that gift to others, I thought that was the thing I wanted to do.
Up, down, lock. Up, down, lock. Up, down, lock. Up, down, lock. That's definitely a shift because you really have to just trust yourself. And that's something that's often hard to do. From being like, okay, I know this program, like I know how this works, I have other people if I forget, and just sort of being able to go with the flow. So it's a lot more like you have to trust yourself than I had to do in the past. 2, 3, 4, switch. Switch. Switch.
Now we're going to be doing the prep. Put your arms like this. You want to go like this. And then to the side. I always just wanted to come here for my art skills, like drawing. And dancing, I didn't know if I was good at it or not, so I wanted to try that out.
I like about it is I've seen all the grades above me do it, and I'm kind of excited for that to finally do it.
Bending our legs, side up, then we're doing the Humpty Dump. Who remembers that? Dell creates this form of leadership where everybody's really just working together and everybody's growing together.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
How slow can we hitchhike? Can we hitchhike into a big line across here? With me being the leader?
It's nice because, you know, 5th graders are so painfully self-conscious. This is such a breakthrough for them to have to do a little solo.
What was the first thing we did? We sat together.
I know. We did.
And what did we do, Tati?
Yeah.
Mirror. Do you remember? Okay.
I have spent most of my career with like middle and high school students, and I think for most of my career I've thought I could never work with young kids. And like, I don't know the strategies, I don't know how it works. So last year was the first year that I had done the spring course, and we were working with second graders, and I just fell in love with like the way that they respond to the prompts or to the ideas or to the movement questions that we ask them. I just fell in love with that sense of like complete freedom, no inhibitions, just trying things out. And so that is really fun to see. Being at Leeds is even more exciting because you're seeing a school where they do it 3 years in a row. And so third graders are so excited and open, and then the fourth graders have this sense of like, yeah, we've been here before. And the fifth graders are like veterans, and like everything is like, yeah, we got this, it's all good.
And they just look at them in awe, like, wow, this is something I might want to do when I go into junior high and high school, and just something to look forward to every year.
It's exciting because we don't sit at a desk all day, and they're just really nice.
When schoolwork is happening, it can get a bit boring, I have to admit. Like, I'm fine with the schoolwork, I can just like fly right through it, but like, it just gets a bit boring after a while, and there's just always something new, so it's fun.
Other years it was very flowy, and you know, in third grade it was fun, fourth grade it was fun, but now I'm ready for something different, and I feel like they know that, and so now we're doing hip hop. It's really fun to do because it's just a break from our regular school day.
It's not like math where I'm just learning, like reviewing. I'm getting to learn something new that I haven't learned before.
The new Dell mentors, you want to be encouraging them, because what starts to happen is you're going to give them more leadership. And so every day we give them something else to think about. The team leaders keep getting challenged to go to the next level of leadership, so the next level of leadership is lifting up the rest of their team members.
I had to like get to know everybody on a more personal level, because I feel knowing someone personally can help form a bond with the group that can show when you're teaching the students. So it's really helpful to like know that.
I knew a couple people in my group before, but I didn't know much of like anyone else. I saw a lot of other people like on my school bus in the morning. Like I see them around school, but like I never really talked to them. And like it's awesome to like form a new relationship like through Dell, and it's like awesome to like meet new people.
So after you do that brainstorm on both of your lessons, you want to explain that what we're doing is that we're making a movement sentence. What is a movement sentence, right?
And then the next step in terms of the lesson planning and the classroom teaching is starting to go through that arc of our whole choreographic unit. Just goes like we were doing in the training, just goes like that.
So our job today is we as a whole class are going to come up with some action words based off of this picture. And this picture reads, "Dragons breathing flames on my counterpane. That doesn't frighten me at all." Yes.
Stop.
Oh, good one.
Yes. Run.
You had one, I think.
So there are a lot of strengths for Dell coming into Leeds. A major part of that strength is that the culture has changed. There's the admission that dance is a discipline, for one, and that it's given credence rather than kids are moving all over the place, can't you sit still? Kids who are moving need to move, and they may be incredible dancers on stage in just a few years, and has given kids a lot of confidence.
Nice, good. Using your arms,
Blossom,
using your legs.
just like a flower blossom. Can you blossom very slow?
Very nice.
Can we blossom very low? I really love how you're blossoming. What's your name?
Rosie.
Rosie. Rosie, can you show us how you're blossoming?
Orange blossom like a rose.
Yeah, perfect, perfect.
I think the Dell program teaches them that there's other ways to communicate, using your body, using physicality, and that's really interesting to me to watch that happen.
All right, so last time we brainstormed all these action words, right? And we hadn't made our movement sentence, so let's make it now. I think we started to start.
My group, like my mini group, is all boys, which I think Mr. Foster did purposefully, and they're great. It's so fun to work with them.
How do you want to start the dance? With the stalking?
The Panthers are walking around.
I feel like I've been able to pull a lot out of some of them. And even if that means giving them like special parts or taking their ideas and incorporating into the dance, because the littlest things like make them feel incorporated and make them see how much fun it is. There's one boy named Jude who I can tell really takes to the whole Dell model. He has done such a great job at like understanding what all these different elements are and almost taking like a mini leadership role in our group with helping me and Elizabeth directing his classmates.
Our page in Life Doesn't Frighten Me is Panthers in the Park. It's just like it's just random, like whoever wants to do something and it all fits together. You actually get to feel what the people in the book might feel.
Okay, so nobody said over, how about under? Between? Yeah. I like that one. Big snakes, like they slither between small rocks and places.
Maybe we could like make a bridge and people can go under it.
I've earned a new respect for elementary school teachers. It takes a lot, but I think when there's a bunch of people just staring at you, and if you mess up, then they're gonna mess up. So it's pressure, but I think it's rewarding.
I have an idea. We could do slides out.
Well, first we have pacing.
Yeah, I know. It'd be cool if we did slides out and then we paced.
In 5th grade, I had sort of a difficult group at first. There's like a lot of different personalities in one space.
I have the opposite of writer's block. It's not really writer's block when it comes to dancing. It's water in a river just coming, ideas nonstop, but they can't all fit into one dance, so I have to shut my mouth sometimes and let other people do the talking and have ideas. It's kind of hard sometimes.
I don't know, maybe there's more room for everybody to have their piece in there, where sometimes where they're having to come up with one idea, it's limited, but in the Dell program, a lot of their ideas are incorporated, so I think they all feel heard.
First, we kind of started out with the basic stuff, like deciding what moves we were going to do.
Write it down and like plan a bit and like take some notes.
It's actually kind of fun. And actually really cool that we get to add our own action words. It feels like exciting because like you get to make your own thing and out of like a poem. And it all kind of came together. We decided as a group. I like working because it's like all a big thing that's together, like not just one person doing all the stuff. I think I've learned to work well with some of the people that I haven't in the past and started to like accept that working with other people.
I don't really feel like anyone's judging you, and I learned about my classmates and how I never realized like so many people were good dancers.
Our dance is almost complete.
Traditional dance teaching can sometimes be a little rigid because Dell, you can really find your individuality throughout it. You can explore yourself as a dancer, as a choreographer, as a team member, really.
So the students who don't usually work together are able to work together and really work out the conflict within the dance and decide on different moves with the dance. They're able to do that and they're able to compromise a lot better than they are academically.
So we have 2 big performances next week, and we have not created the dances. And we have 1 day to create them. So the beauty of the Dell model is we're using the exact structure that we use with the lead students, but we're doing it in an accelerated way.
And we're making a giant, sort of shadowy, scary group shape behind her, all right?
And they're going to make a group dance with their teams based on Grandma Spider Brings the Sun and then Life Doesn't Frighten Me. That's a really fun challenge.
We pick a few action words that we think about in the page that we received to make the dance out of, like pounce and crawl and stalk, and really try to like make flowy moves out of them to make a dance.
I love seeing the PVPA students rise to the rigorous challenge of creating original choreography in this collaborative way. They get to feel this collective sense of purpose and teamwork. It's really all about building community.
Muscle, muscle, muscle. And then over, right? Yes, yes, I want to feel the emotion. I want to, thank you.
It's opened up a whole new opportunity for like, you know, putting this on resumes and stuff like that, and it's really helpful because maybe I was thinking about maybe opening a dance studio of my own one day to teach other kids about dance, and this is really helpful to like start that. I'm super excited, and this has been like an awesome opportunity for me, and I just love dancing and dancing with other people, and this is just amazing. I'm so happy to be here.
So, today is the day. Finish everything. Go right in, do the warm-up, go right to your groups, review, try to finish your dances, right? You can do it. Yes? Good. Let's tape the space. For most of the classes, this is the first time they're able to practice on the stage. And so they're going from a teeny tiny little cramped classroom, right, with desks and all kinds of stuff, to this beautiful stage that we have. It's a little crazy because we don't have a lot of time, but I think it's going really, really well. I'm feeling great about it.
They're all done, but now it's putting it to music and make sure that we're on rhythm. So the hard part will be for the Dell mentors because they'll have to choose the song, and then from there, they'll just have to keep rehearsing to the music. I gave them some really positive feedback and they took it, and I was really surprised because I thought it was gonna be choppy, but it was really smooth. Like they all did exactly what I was looking for, and they were so happy doing it. There's smiles and they're like Humpty Dumps, and you know, they kept the bouncing and they had a great time.
I really like the stomping part. It just felt so like in the music and in the mood, like tingles up my spine.
Me too. Oh my goodness. Poke out your chest a little bit more. Because that was so powerful. That was the most, you are right on. That was the most powerful part.
They remember the dances so well, like more than me. And then like they're like, do this is the next thing. So they remembered it, so that's good.
Their leadership skills are right at the max right now because they have to be in charge of their group, they're choreographers, they have to be working with their team leaders, they have to remember this complicated sequence.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been smiling at the rehearsals and stuff for the performance. I normally don't dance in front of people, but I've started to like it.
I'm looking forward to like moving around mostly because it's PVPA. You're moving around.
Doing my solo. That's the fun part.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I know the kids are gonna feel that sense of like, wow, I just did this. I spent 3 weeks working on this and I can perform it in front of the people that I know, in front of all my peers.
You know, and I think that sense of accomplishment is amazing. Doing something you've never done before, probably in front of several hundred people, dancing and getting it done and doing it right. But what I do see is a transferable life skill, something like getting along with new people. Going into a situation and trying or doing something you've never done before.
Really awesome job today. You are going to have a wonderful snowy weekend. You get to rest, take care of yourselves, review your choreography. Really beautiful job, everybody. Thank you so much.
families, Leeds faculty and staff, to our culminating performances of the Dance Education Laboratory Dell PVPA partnership.
I didn't like dance before, but now I like our group teachers, and they're Tali and Emily.
Our moves are really cool. First, we line up in 2 rows of 4. Then we start moving our arms in a creepy way. Then we sneak around. After that, we scatter. Then we spin, and we're done.
I feel a little bit more confident than I did before, and I learned a lot of social skills from talking to kids.
I am seeing things from a new perspective. It's good when your students support you as a teacher, and that really helps a lot with how you see yourself and your image in the mirror.
Well, so when I was younger, in elementary school, I was really bullied for like a really long time. And so I kind of didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. And then I started dancing more often, and then I did this. So I've enjoyed being a part of Dell so much because it's helped me be more confident. And I just feel like I can work with the kids and like relate to them. And I've made so many relationships with the kids.
Talking about it makes me want to cry. Like, it's my last year and like working with them, and it was like really great working with you guys, and I'm super glad I got to work with you.
I'm not exactly sure what I want to do, but I know I really want to explore throughout my first year or two of college and take as many classes as I can in the subjects I'm interested in, but not giving up dance and education.
My future is pretty uncertain right now. I mean, I know I want to go to college. I know I want to keep dancing. I know I want to keep teaching.
Yeah, I think this has inspired me definitely to go and do more dance in life, and I think that's one of the things I have to start doing.
I wish there was dance in school more.
I want to have dance in school every day.
We are always making dances about something. And right now, I feel very strongly that it's important to make dances that actually can change the world. This collaborative, community-based, positive, affirming model is what we need in this kind of time. And I'm thinking about the next generation, and I'm like, we gotta be focusing on what is nurturing and positive and affirming and will lift up someone and increase someone's self-esteem and give them a voice so they're empowered to say something. And we say it collectively in our little community groups, and we say it individually, and we say it so we're heard and seen in the world.
Oh, no, come on. Let's see some emojis after that. Oh, my goodness. All right, everyone. What a beautiful, beautiful movie. Every time I watch that, I just get the chills. It's so good. Let's do this. Let's take 5 minutes, okay? Because we just finished up. Why don't we just take 5 minutes in here, but you're going to have an assignment on your 5 minute break. I know. I'm that guy. When you come back, I want you to put in the chat or voice it out loud. What was your essential takeaway from that? Like, what did you notice? What's your one thing that you kind of noticed and you're walking away with? Let's share that in 5 minutes, okay? So I have 7:16 Central Time. I'll see you at 7:21. and then we'll use the remainder of our time. It looks like we've had some other guests that I'm excited to introduce to you as well. So I'll see you in 5 minutes. All right, people, welcome back. I'm going to put in the chat the question, which is the essential takeaway. What essential takeaway did you have, or something that you noticed? And to get us rolling, you can throw it in the chat or you can come on screen. There's a little raise your hand feature on the bottom of your screen. So if you want to hop in and talk, but I can't wait. You people write your stuff down. And you are an amazing educator. I mean, it takes a lot to teach students, but to teach students, that's a complex, you have to, because you want them to succeed, but you don't want to get in their way. And what I noticed from this film was your patience, but also your trust. I mean, it's just masterful teaching. So I noticed that. The other thing I noticed too is that there wasn't a lot of talk of technique. And maybe that's behind the scenes and we didn't see it on this, but that wasn't the focus. To me, it was all about, what are you trying to communicate? What are you trying to convey? And the technique came from that. And it was just beautiful to see that. And the last thing, I know, I'm hogging it, but hey, I set up the Zoom call. I can do this. Hey, here's the other thing though, too. Smiles. What kid wasn't smiling? I mean, they were just so happy and elated. So, I mean, it was so beautiful. Okay, others, let's have you hop in too. Go ahead, Susan.
I saw a wonderful connection to all those charts that I passed out because that was living. You could point out every one of those steps by watching that film. It was like, wow. They should always be done together. It's amazing.
And I'm going to lift up a few things in the chat here too. Anna, they kept reiterating the power of dance and how it could be wonderful to have every day in school. Oh man. And then Rachel, love the impact of the mentor relationship on both sides, mentor and mentee. I mean, they were hugging each other at the end of the couple days. I mean, you talk about a connection being made. And then Molly, beautiful collaboration across ages. Speaking a common dance language shows the power of movement and the need for dance education. Oh, absolutely. Laura, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Laura Stotterman with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. So happy you all are on this call today and joining us. And thank you for the invitation to join you. And I just say, I love seeing how articulate our students are when they're engaged in the arts. And you see this from the senior leaders to the student leaders at the middle school levels to even the young, second, third, and fifth graders that were doing these activities. And whether they're reading their reflections or they're talking about, their experiences, it really, the arts gives us such a voice, not only in that physicality of expression, but really in that metacognitive. What are we learning? How am I interacting in this? What am I getting from this experience? And how does it enrich me and my learning? And so I think that is something that we can advocate more on as we come back to how Susan started, right? All the things that dance gives us. And that's just another thing, really to be able to talk about who we are as learners and in our experiences. I thought it was really powerful, and bravo on the work y'all are doing.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, and we do have two celebrities with us. Not like we don't have a screen full of celebrities, but Felice is with us, and your partner, right? And then Tali. Tali, good to see you. That was brilliant, Tali.
Hi, good to be here.
You don't look shy at all. I mean, your teaching was exceptional. The way that you were just listening to those students and then adapting, like the dab, that was great. The kid did the dab, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go with that. I mean, what are you doing right now? Where are you at?
I live in Brooklyn. Like what am I doing for my job?
Yeah.
I'm the manager of education at Gibney Dance, and I teach as well.
Awesome. Well, we're all proud of you. And I'm not even your teacher, and I'm proud of you. But here's the thing: you watch that film, and you feel like you know all these people. You know what I mean? You see these students, and you're just like, oh, there they are. And what was the impetus for getting all of this started? Can you take us back to that Genesis?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was actually very personal because I had moved to Massachusetts in 2010, and I was sort of having a sabbatical year. And my son, Yoshi, who is my son, is a dancer. He was a dancer, but there was no dance in his public school. And so I went into his third grade classroom as a mom, happened to be a dance educator, and I started leading, dance residencies linked to the school curriculum. And then other classroom teachers kept peeking into the room to say, what is going on in there? And they wanted it because there was not any dance education in the public schools in Massachusetts. So then the next year, I got a full-time teaching job at PVPA, teaching 7th through 12th grade at a performing arts school. And I pitched this idea of bringing middle school and high school dancers and students to Leeds to lead a creative movement-based workshop based on the Dell pedagogy model. So that first year, I had 8 kids. I drove the van, believe it or not. I had to drive the van, which was so scary. I think I left a student at the school one day. But anyway, we did our residency, and then it became the most popular, honestly, one of the most popular programs because we welcomed everyone. And then Felice joined and Shakia joined. And, we led the January intersession with probably 36 kids. I don't think we could fit any more students on the bus. It was that popular because it was so affirming and inclusive. These were not necessarily students who were identifying as dancers, but there was something appealing about being part of a community that was so positive and also that was relational, right? They were building relationships with high schoolers that usually they're so separate from the kids in high school, the middle schoolers. And then it just became a whole multi-tiered mentoring program because as you heard Janavia say, Janavia, by the way, isn't she becoming a nurse, Felice? Yeah, she's becoming a nurse right now, and she's continuing teaching in her private studio. But to go back to what Janavia said, this became an opportunity just to become part of something greater than yourself. So we know developmentally that middle school age is rough. It's kind of rough. But they're social creatures, right? They want to be in those social groupings. And when you create this kind of a program where they get to work in a team, they get to try on leadership skills, they get to take care of a younger child and build that kind of nurturing relationship. It is the most rewarding experience that one can have. And they're getting pre-professional training in dance education, which I can tell you is going to prepare them for life. Tali is now the director, or what is your title again, Tali, at Gibney? I'm so proud of you.
The manager.
The manager of education at Gibney Dance in New York City, and a brilliant educator. And we need to be investing in our young people so that they have these opportunities to get this very hands-on, experiential, practical kind of career readiness. And to quote my mentor, Jody Arnhold, there is no dance without dance education. Dance education must become part of a comprehensive education in dance. Anyway, I'll pause there. I don't want to hog the, thank you, Rachel, for snapping, but, and I'm sure there are lots of other comments and questions, and I want Felice to be able to pipe in here. She's still at PVPA and a Dell facilitator doing so much beautiful work, and we're still collaborating.
Yeah, and let's hop over to Felice. Can you talk to us about for those who obviously can't look behind the curtain, what was your role in all of that too? How did you work through that project?
The film or Dell?
Well, both.
That was a project
Let's
for
hear
me
both.
too. So I became familiar with the Dell model in 2009 because I took a year-long course, and Jody was my teacher and 2 other educators, and I met Ann through that course, and I ended up finding myself moving from New York back to Massachusetts where I'd grown up. And Anne was working at this school that happened to be my alma mater. I actually went to high school at PVPA. And I reached out and she brought me there, and she had this program happening, and I think it was my first year. I was sort of just watching and getting a lot of information from Anne, learning how she taught. And then in my second year, started to participate as a teacher. And I learned how to teach in this model in the exact way that you see our students learning in the film. Anne is whisper technique, in my ear too, and Shakia, and we're all learning in that same, like, very embodied experiential way, so that when we bring it to our students, we're sort of coming to them from this perspective of like having experienced exactly what they're experiencing, a little bit of the nervousness and the feeling a little unsure, and then having a very supportive person by your side to help you through. And, I know you talk about this multi-tiered mentoring system, Anne, but it's straight on down the line. It was Anne to me and Shakia, and us to our students, and the students to the kids at Leeds. And it's just a really beautiful experience, because I feel like I was really part of it as I was learning. And, Anne mentioned the need to trust your students. And I think when you said that, Anne, I thought, well, that's really like the thing that I think I've really taken from my experience with the Dell model is learning to trust my students' abilities, and then to feel really, like I said to my students about 2 weeks ago, I said, the best thing that I can do for you is make it so you don't need me anymore, right? And that's, I think, what I've learned a lot of through Dell, is that I don't need to be at the center, that it was Tali that needed to be at the center. And then when Tali went into the schools, it was her second graders that needed to be at the center. And I don't know, that sort of really hit me tonight, Anne, when you were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so beautiful, especially in a system of education that tends to not center on the child and
Right.
who needs to be in the center. That was really beautifully said. Tali, let's head back over to you. How did this experience in the Dell mentoring program, how has that impacted the way you frame education and teaching right now?
Yeah. I think that, like, as a dancer, I've always understood the importance of movement, but being part of Dell really deepened my understanding and showed me how essential dance education is in helping children, like, not only just like have fun, but develop their sense of self and gain really important social skills that are gonna help them throughout their entire life. It's really not just about teaching steps. Like when I go into schools, even today, it's like my goal is to just give them a new language and a set of tools that they can use to express themselves and collaborate with others and create and just like explore and have fun. Because it's through that process that they're gaining those really critical social skills and problem solving skills. And they're also just like gaining confidence. I feel like that's the most rewarding thing to see, is like when you finish a residency or you finish teaching, just seeing people's like outlook change about themselves and about dance. And like, I don't know, that was my favorite part of like Dell and high school. It's like the final show. Everyone's just like you said, they're just hugging and they're having a good time. So I really bring collaboration and this model of like breaking down steps for students to explore them for themselves into the work I do teaching.
That's beautiful. Jody, you must be so proud. When you see this and you see the impact, you just have to be so proud. How has that been for you as you've seen both of these films now go out into the world?
Well, I am proud, Chris. That's exactly the word. And you know, I had this idea. I saw what happened when there was a wonderful dance program in the school at PS 75 where I taught. I saw it happen. I saw all these things that we're talking about, and I said to myself, "This is wonderful here, but what about that school? What about that school? And what about every school?" And it has been in teacher education. And it has been so beautiful because this is literally lifelong learning. We're all still learning. We named the program at the 92nd Street Y 30 years ago, the Dance Education Laboratory. We are a laboratory. We're all teaching and learning. We're an incubator. And that has really paid off. Dell has been a catalyst for graduate school, for doctoral program, for the Department of Education has embraced the model. And so many people are doing such brilliant work, and so many people are training other people. And truly, when I listen to the doctoral students at Teachers College, I feel like I have hope. When I hear the ideas that are coming out of the doctoral program and out of the Institute at Teachers College, I know that this is going to live. This idea is alive and living. And I'm watching Ann still learning. I'm watching Felice still learning. I'm watching Tali still learning. I'm watching the kids still learning, and I'm watching myself still learning. It's just phenomenal. I have to say that this film is unscripted and unrehearsed. The filmmakers went up to Northampton, Massachusetts. They went into the schools and they filmed. What you see is what it is. And I think I'm very proud of this film. I'm very proud of the first film, P.S. Dance. And always I'm thinking, what next? So if any of you have a big idea, please let me know. It's got to be a big idea. We're going big here. Thank you, Chris, for this opportunity.
Chris, can I address Laura's comment that was in the chat?
Yes, please.
Yeah, because as Jody mentioned, our amazing filmmaker, Nell Shelby, came up to Northampton. It was a very snowy January, and she was there for 4 weeks filming every single day. No storyboard, filming. And yes, that's such an excellent question, Laura, because reflection is such an important part of professional learning. And so, in fact, at the end of every day, when the film crew was packing up, we were doing a little reflection circle with our students. And then they were also meeting with their smaller teams to talk about, what went well, what was challenging, what we can adjust or modify for the next day. So there absolutely was reflection built in. And then we as a faculty or the facilitators, the adult facilitators, were doing the same process. And that is a parallel process that we do in the Dell facilitation model. Absolutely. And I think what was so beautiful, and there were moments that they did film those clips. I'd love to try to find them because beautiful, insightful, thoughtful reflections were occurring. And to me, that's where the work is happening, right? Where you're reflecting on your teaching, you're learning by observing how your students are responding, how you're working as a team. It's the collaborative, collective process where you're helping each other improve the learning for everyone. And that is the message, right? This is for everyone. So we want to find a way to invite every single student into this beautiful creative process where they can shine. And I think you could see that in the stories of some of the students. Again, unscripted, they were just asked to start speaking about their experience. So anyway, but thank you for that question, Laura. Really appreciate it.
I want to say one more thing, which is the importance, which is so interesting. Nell Shelby, our filmmaker, who has been working with us for such a long time, has truly become a dance educator and advocate herself. And I think that's because we film everything. We believe in documenting. We've got all this on film, thanks to Nell. And we just can't do enough. We're so convinced that dance education can save democracy, nothing less, really.
Yeah, and I think And it's so true. In fact, a program like this should be a required program for all educators. I've said that and it's recorded. Every educator should go through this program. Why? Because it puts them in a place as a learner. But you've so beautifully demonstrated the essence of teaching. I mean, one of the things I actually wrote down while watching this again was, you're teaching through dance. You're not just teaching dance, you're teaching through it. You're teaching these durable skills that we want all just well-balanced, well-rounded humans to possess, Um, and you saw it on display. It was absolutely gorgeous. And, what are some of the things, having now done this for years and so on, what are some of the important characteristics about this that people who would like to replicate this model and to bring this to their own communities, what are some things, just some nuts and bolts that they have to really keep in mind?
Yeah, and the nuts and bolts are so important. And actually, we had a very dense teacher's manual. Like the whole thing is written up. It's very well organized, every detail, right, Felice? So first of all, there's so many iterations, so many ways you can develop this kind of program. You want to try to find a school that has an interest. So is there a principal? Is there a classroom teacher who wants to bring movement in some capacity into their school? So you have to build that relationship. If you want to do a partnership between different schools, like a middle school, high school, and an elementary school, then location is important. Is that right down the block so I could walk my students down? What is the schedule? Because the schedules, of course, are so different. So there are a million logistics that you have to figure out. But what I have found, and because I'm still doing this work, by the way, now in my role as faculty at UMass Amherst with my dance ed kids. So I have to do the same process, looking for schools, finding a contact, convincing people that really this is what they want. And that as soon as they have a taste of this kind of a way that we envision dance, they're like, oh, I get it. We can connect dance to every discipline. I can really enhance my students' learning in this model. And all of my students will engage with this. So there are lots of those details. I am happy to talk to anybody about all those logistics. I have lots of strategies. But really, you have to find one person in a school who will say yes and invite you in. And then once you're in, it's going to spread because everyone will see. And the smiles, that's so important, Chris, because to me, that's the ultimate kind of assessment, right? We're always trying to assess, is this working? What is the evidence of student learning? But when you see joy, that's a pretty universal piece of evidence about the success of an experience, the impact.
I think it's very, very important that you experience the Dell model yourself. And we welcome you to the Dance Education Laboratory at the 92nd Street Y. COVID put us online. We can reach you. You can reach us. Please contact us, the Dance Education Laboratory. Go on our website.
Come visit us this summer,
might
Chris.
Be interested in the Dell.
Oh.
Yes, Chris, you're invited. You might be very interested in the Dell Institute, which is a year-long course where you can sign on, and we'll lead you through a year-long course. Some people take 2 years, and immerse yourself in this model.
Hey, and you can get me to dance. I'm a tuba player, so I'm just saying, like, if you can get me to dance well,
Chris, everyone. We work with. I mean, it's a universal language that we all speak.
Exactly right. And that's the point of the film too. I mean, right? It's like, this is where I always think back to Ken Robinson, who's just like, we all have bodies, correct? I mean, like, it's not like we're just getting our brain to meetings. Felice, I want to go back to you for a moment though. You have seen this, as I'm watching the film again, and I'm looking at, are kids phoning it in? Are they faking it? You know what I mean? But I didn't. I saw authentic. Like, they were just totally into this. What have you seen from your perspective as you've seen students, work through this process over the course of those days?
I mean, so much. I mean, if you take the three students that were featured in the film, Tali and Janavia and Yoshi, as, I mean, that's the experience that's happening for almost all of the students, is some sort of a transformational process that is happening through this experience of mentoring other kids through dance and one another. I think, I have now been with students who went through the Dell program, and I've got seniors now who are graduating who a student just wrote me a letter saying that Dell was the thing that sparked her understanding that dance and teaching dance and being a leader in dance was like the thing that was going to save her life and make her find purpose in her life. And she's about to go off to college, and she's going to double major in dance and something else. And these are the stories that we hear from students all the time, and we see it in them. And I teach seventh graders and up to 12th grade, and I teach beginning students all the way to advanced students. My school is a Dell Lab school, so everything that we do there is totally embed. The model is just in it. I feel like it's in my blood now. I can't do anything without it being Dell. And we've found that students are just so much more capable from the beginning to collaborate and to engage responsibly and respectfully and compassionately with one another. They're interested in really understanding what it means to be a leader and how shared leadership really looks. It doesn't look loud and boisterous and, like in charge and bossy. It's something so different and more collective than that. And, I would also offer to folks, if you're thinking about trying a program like this, one of the things that I'm doing a lot at PVPA now is mentorship within the building. And so my seniors are planning lessons and residencies for our middle school seventh graders, because we have that, we've got kids across six grades. And so, that's another way that I'm still seeing kids really understand their ability to affect change. And so I see it all the time. I see it in every age I teach. And it becomes like a culture. So now like that culture exists at PVPA. And once it's there, you can kind of just sort of do anything, like our seventh graders are really excited when Ann comes with her UMass students, and we get to do 3 days with them, and it's fantastic. It's all just amazing.
Love that. Tali, the hardest question for you. Sorry. And it's very simple, but as far as asking it, but the answer is a little more complex, and that is, why dance education? Why now?
I just think it's so important, like now more than ever, when things are feeling like, I don't know, no one listens to each other anymore. Things just feel sort of dark in our like political context. But I think now more than ever we need dance because it's such an important tool of like understanding each other and like building social competence, cultural competence, as well as more just like self-awareness. And I just think that's so needed today, in a world where people are like very self-focused and like go, go, go. It's just important to have movement and this chance to like work through a lot of feelings like with other people. I think that's so beautiful. And I teach dance still. I dance myself. It's like such a light in my day when I get to take a class. It also just like feels good to move your body and like, I don't know, you want to do things that feel good. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you bring a lot of hope with what you're doing. And did you, in your own experience, Tali, did you see when you were working with these young students, did you see any dramatic changes in some students from over those 10 days, right? Did you see any students like just blossom in front of you?
totally. I mean, like
from first day of the residency to like last day of the residency, like there is so much growth. Like it really shows how transformative this program is, even in the matter of like 3 weeks. You'll have kids who, especially like fifth graders, they're older, they're more self-conscious, like they don't want to dance, they're like embarrassed the first day. And then you just like work with them, you meet them where they're at. Since there are many mentors in the room, you can sort of provide that individualized attention, which is really nice, and work with your team to make sure each student feels supported. You can give students different roles, and you just like make sure everyone feels involved. And then by the last day, like everyone's performing, they're smiling, like they're hyping each other up, like just really beautiful. And they're like excited to perform and show their peers when on the first day you have kids who like stand with their arms crossed and like they don't want to dance. With third graders, they're just like a ball of creativity. It's like it's a little bit easier. But for older kids especially, you have to sort of work through that in the first week. But it's really meaningful to see it at the end. And for myself too, throughout this whole program, like I've seen it, like Felice was saying, like I really was a different person in seventh grade than I was senior year. And a lot of that was from Dell and just like the leadership model that I learned. And I don't know, I gained a lot of confidence through this program.
Yeah, I love that one young student who was like, it just keeps coming like a hose. I can't put it even all into one dance. So cute. Oh, so cute. Questions from the rest of the group here. If you want, do the raise your hand thing or just shout it out.
Oh, Katie?
Hi, my name is Katie Thompson, and I just wanted to thank you all. I feel like I've had, even in the past, I don't know, almost 2 hours, just such a deep reflection on where I have been as an educator and my mentor, Sandy Stratton Gonzalez, and my time in New York and Brooklyn, and then coming into what it is that I do today, which is similar, but not quite as structured or clearly not quite as I'm going to say infamous in the most respectful way possible and developed. And so I just feel really, really inspired to continue doing what I'm doing, but with just a little bit more like channel of everything that we've discussed today, and then kind of bringing it forth into that, like that generosity and that give back.
Thank you, Katie. You know, one thing I want to say, Chris, is and I really encourage folks, you know, to reach out to us at Dell because we are very generous, and that comes directly from our amazing founder, Jody. That generosity of spirit is, you know, Dell is also really a choreography model. It's a collaborative choreography model, and that is absolutely magical. And everything is happening simultaneously, right? The social emotional learning, the cooperation, the ability to communicate, to navigate, to negotiate, to create, to synthesize ideas. These are higher levels of thinking and being and doing. And that's what we are engaging our students at all levels, regardless of where their, you know, what their prior dance experience or exposure is. And when you create something together in this environment that is so positive and affirming and celebratory, that is the greatest feeling. That is the greatest feeling. And so, you know, art making, as we know, and Chris, you're with your tuba, is that what you play? Right?
I do every other week.
That's so that, you know, the power of art creation is really, really so significant here. So it's this combination, right, of making sure that the model of dance that we're teaching allows those opportunities for students to have an opinion, to engage in that creative process with their peers and with their, you know, teachers. That feels good inside. That's why those smiles come out. That's why students have like these aha moments of, oh, now I may understand, I can make those connections. That's what learning is about, right? Helping kids make those connections to all these other areas of their lives. And then for it to be an embodied form of learning is phenomenal, as we know, for our
Yeah.
beautiful kinesthetic learners and everyone.
Yeah, and I think in education we do that too often, right? Everybody, we tend to strip things out and say, okay, that's SEL time, and now we'll check that box. And then here's creativity time. And what you've shown so beautifully through this film is like that doesn't have to be that way. It needs to be authentic. You need to provide students agency. I mean, that one student's like, we get to make choices. I mean, it's like we're creating things. This is so amazing. But it's authentic. There's relevance, there's purpose to it, and there doesn't have to be a goodie at the end of it. You don't have to, these kids are intrinsically excited by the concept of this just because it's relevant to their lives. So no, it's such a beautiful thing. Shell, I wanted to get your voice in the space too, because you are leading the charge in Wisconsin, and we're grateful to have you in our state.
Oh, you're so sweet, Chris. Hey, everybody. It's great seeing y'all. I'm sorry I came a little bit late, but I did hear, I did come in before the film. I was at a rehearsal, and I'm really tired, so I don't know how articulate I could possibly be. I love the film. I mean, my big thing is always, the mentorship. All of the things that we're talking about are so important, and, dance as education, not as extracurricular, all of that. But I did want to say, Chris, that I wrote the Wisconsin Arts Celebration Project lesson plans last year for DPI for Chris, and the Dell model is in there. It's referenced in there, and there's links to it. And then also the young woman who's writing those lesson plans this year is Lucy Sullivan, who I don't know if you all at Dell will remember. She met Tali actually a couple years ago, and she was at Dell. And Lucy is in elementary education now, and has taken our dance education courses and works for our program, the UW Dance Exchange. We're currently in 6 elementary schools here in Madison. With right now, I think we have 6 teaching artists, but several of them, Lucy, Sabrina, have all attended Dell. So, Chris, it's closer than you might think. It's an amazing program, and I'm so grateful that we are able to take, through the generosity of Jody and Dell, we are able to take 3 students every year, and it's incredibly valuable for us. So I'm just glad to be here.
I'll be over tomorrow. Final words, Anne, what would you like to say before? How can folks, if they have questions or want to be in touch with you, how can they be in touch?
Yeah, I'll put my email in the chat. I also put all the contact information for Dell. We have asynchronous courses, in-person courses at 92NY in New York City. Again, we have this wonderful summer intensive where we bring college students from all over the country, as well as local dance educators. So please reach out to us anytime. And, thank you for being here this evening. And thank you, Chris, and thank you, Susan and Jody, for your leadership. Thank you, Felice and Tali and everyone else for being here. We know how important this work is. And even in this time of pretty intense chaos in our country, we have to keep doing the work because we know it's so meaningful and creates such value for our young people and gives them a place to be who they want to be, even if it's one moment in a classroom. It's so important. So thank you all. Jody, passing to you for any final words. And
thank you. Please join us, the Dance Education Laboratory. I can vouch for the fact that there's always more to learn. And, as Anne said, making a dance is the peak because it involves all those important skills that are the essence of education. So I'm all for dance education. I'd like to quote something from the first movie, P.S. Dance. Why dance? Why dance education? Well, why not? Yeah. Nobody asks you if you want to take math. Mm-hmm. So I can end with what my daughter said to me. She said, Mom, she was 15, Mom, I know what you want. You want dance for every child, whether they want it or not. And that's about it. I think it's so important. Be aligned with education. And jump in. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Chris.
Oh, my pleasure. Jody, we are all grateful for you. You have created quite a ripple in the pond. And so we just need to keep that going forward. All right, Tali, it's on you. Keep going. All right. All right, everyone. Hey, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate seeing you. Thank you, Ann, Felice, Jody, Tali, and Susan. You were fabulous tonight. All right. And for those of you watching on video, we'll have all the links up on the website so you can stay in touch. Thanks, everybody.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.